Hello, Professor.
Yes, I am here.
Yeah, sir. So we'll start.
Yeah.
Ma'am, shall we start, ma'am?
Ma'am,
Yes.
please start.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Professor, we'll start, Professor. Good afternoon, dear participants. We begin our day with the blessings of our Almighty. Mathematics is not about numbers, equations, computations, or algorithms. It is about understanding. Williams Paul Truston. And this is Dr. Geeta, Head Department of Mathematics, KPR Institute of Engineering and Technology, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, India. The institute is accredited by National Assessment and Accreditation Council with A grade. I heartily welcome you all on behalf of KPR Institute of Engineering and Technology, Coimbatore, for our international webinar on lecture on Srinivasa Ramanuja, his work and his life. Srinivasa Ramanujan's birth anniversary on December 22nd is celebrated as National Mathematics Day every year. Coming from a humble Tamil Brahmin Iyengar family and without any formal training in pure mathematics, Srinivasa Ramanujan knew to become a mathematics genius from India. He made incredible contributions to mathematical analysis, number theory, infinite series, and continued fractions. A movie, The Man Who Knew Infinity, starring actor Dev Patel, was filmed on his life and pioneering work as a mathematician from India. Professor Walt Smith is a man who has devoted his life for spreading mathematics in all parts of the globe. He had visited several developing and underdeveloped countries to teach and spread mathematics among everyone. This initiative makes him very special. The happy news is that Professor Michael Watt Smith has selected to receive the prestigious Bertrand Russell Prize for the year 2021 from American Mathematical Society. The 2021 Bertrand Russell Prize is awarded to the professor in recognition of his outstanding contributions to graduate schools and mathematical research in developing countries and of a sustained commitment to build bridge between mathematical communities around the world. Throughout his career, Professor has worked tirelessly toward the development of graduate schools in multiple countries, both through lecturing and serving on advisory committees. Department of Mathematics, KPR Institute of Engineering and Technology salute Professor Michael Wald-Smith for all his selfless contributions and winning this much deserving prize from American Mathematical Society. I am very sure everyone in India would be very pleased to note his honor bestowed for Professor Michael Watt-Smith. We are very proud to host this webinar and pay tribute to the genius Srinivasa Ramanujan. I am especially thankful to Professor as when we approached him and requested him to grace this afternoon as a resource person, Professor accepted a request and readily agreed when he looked at today's event and its program. Welcome you, Professor. I take great pride in welcoming all the attendees of the international webinar, lecture on Srinivasa Ramanuja, his life and his work, organized by the Department of Mathematics, KPR Institute of Engineering and Technology. Holding such an international webinar at a relatively short span of time would not have been possible without the invaluable support of management, dynamic principal Dr. M. Akhila, beloved Chief Executive Dr. A. M. Natarajan. I would like to extend my warm welcome to the coordinators, Mr. K. Damodaran and Ms. N. Narmada, for their tremendous support to make this event happen today. Lastly and importantly, I would like to welcome all the members of the faculty from various states and my own institute and research students who are the integral part of this webinar. Once again, I welcome you all. I now request our principal to felicitate the gathering. Ma'am, over to you.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Professor Michael Waldschmidt. So happy to see you today in this program, and you're more familiar among the computer science people because because of number theory. So we are so passionate about number theory when we go about cryptography and networking field. And I have read a few books which has been written by you, and I'm so happy that your I10 index now it is 80 and H index is 20, and you are an inspiration to many people here in India how to go about scholarly articles in the field of interest. So in one single area you have been proficient enough, and we tell you as an example to our people. And I wholeheartedly thank you for accepting our invitation today, for giving a great lecture arranged by our Department of Mathematics. Followed by, I also want to tell about our Pi Mathematics Association. I came to know that they have given nearly 200 lectures all around India. So it's a great service to the society that because mathematics, even myself, when I was a student in school, I had the math teachers. So we teach mathematics really matters for the students of this generation, especially the Gen X. So mathematics is backbone for our engineering, and not only engineering, now it is everywhere, even science, everything need mathematics, and mathematics has become a playful activity these days because of people like you who has contributed so much for the mathematics. So I appreciate the department for having you here amid us to have a wonderful lecture today. And I wish all the very best for this international webinar. Thank you for the opportunity given for me to felicitate in this gathering.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Over to Narmada now.
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to introduce our today's research person, Michael Waldschmidt, is a world-renowned mathematician whose research has had a profound impact on number theory. He is considered for the father of Great French School of a transcendental number theory, has at least 65 scientific descendants, is known to be an exceptional teacher. Michael Waldschmidt is a professor emeritus at University Paris at Marie Curie, where he taught for nearly 40 years. This exceptional teacher makes the most complex topics simple, clear, and understandable, and he inspires his students to explore his area in even great depth. Many travel from far away to take his course in the latest avenues of research, and Michael Waldschmidt regularly invited to teach courses in Asia, Middle East, and Africa. During his time as a president of Société Mathématique de France, the French premium mathematical organization, Professor organized the first Canada-France Congress in Science and Mathematics. Since he has fostered a special relation with Canada and with the University of Ottawa in particular, he has also served as a vice president of the International Center for Pure and Applied Mathematics. Since then, he has fostered a special relationship with Canada and the University of Ottawa in particular. He has also served as a vice president in International Center for Pure and Applied Mathematics, an organization that promotes mathematics in developing countries. And he currently works as a regional scientific officer for India and Western Central Asia. The eminent scientist is known for his modest and kind record for his colleagues. and his work was often be uploaded by various national and international organizations. Most notable, he has been awarded the Albert Chatelet Medal, the CNRS Silver Medal, the French Academy of Science Marquette Prize. He also has been named as a fellow of the Robert Bosch Foundation in Princeton University Institute of Advanced Studies. And more recently, he was named as a Honor Fellow of Hardy Ramanujam Society. He is author of over 160 publications, including 10 books. Above all, Professor is a researcher who is driven to pursue the lowest ideal. He is an accomplished runner who has completed several marathons and run Greuel Mont Blanc Ultra 3 trials. His genius, his impressive ability to pass on his knowledge, and his desire for achievement in all the fields are sure to inspire our most recent graduates. I welcome you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Professor, the stage is yours.
Yes, I'm here. Do you hear me?
Yeah, we are able to hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
So something very rare occurred on my place, which is a power failure.
Okay, fine.
Just now.
Okay.
But so I hope that everything will go smoothly in spite of that. I am connected to the internet via my iPhone.
Okay,
so
fine.
I hope it will work.
Yes.
So,
yes. You can just proceed.
Do I share my screen now?
Yeah, you can share your screen.
Okay, so.
Fine.
Partager l'écran. Ah oui. Okay, so maybe. Okay, so is it okay like this?
Yes, sir. It's okay.
You see me a little bit?
Yeah, very much.
Fortunately, the power should come back soon.
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, so I thank you very much for the kind words that you said. And I am especially grateful to Dr. Geeta to organize this webinar. She's so energetic. I already gave another webinar on another topic for her, but I am glad to participate to this webinar series at the KPR Institute of Engineering and Technology. I already visited Coimbatore, which is a very nice place, so you are fortunate to be in such a place. And I see that there are so many participants, which I am very pleased for that. I know that some of them come from the P Mathematics Association, and I will call all of you and Mr. Shivaraman, who leads this P Mathematics Association. So I will speak of Srinivasa Ramanujan, his life and his work. It will be not a very technical lecture on his work. I plan to be a bit superficial, but there are a few topics on which there are a lot of things to be said, and on which I already gave some talks, some webinars, and these talks are available on the internet. So I will give some links during the course of my talk. For example, I will speak on the taxicab number, and I will speak on the Euler constant, and also on the Landau-Ramanujan constant. And on all these subjects, there are a lot of things, very interesting things to be said. And I will give some links for you to know more about it. So this lecture includes a few biographical information about Srinivasa Ramanujan. I will discuss Euler constant, nested roots, divergent series, Ramanujan-Nagel equation, partitions, Ramanujan tau function, Hardy-Littlewood, and the so-called method, highly composite numbers and transcendent theory. I will speak on the number pi, and I will say just a few words about the Lost Notebook. So a few information about Srinivasa Ramanujan. He was born in 1887, and he passed away just 100 years ago in Madras on April 26, 1920. So it is to commemorate the 100th year of his death that there are many webinars, many celebrations which are taking place in India during all this month. And in fact, I give 4 webinars before the end of the month. The first biographer of Srinivasa Ramanujan was P.K. Srinivasan, known as PKS. There is a very interesting paper on him, The Passion for Numbers, which is published in the Hindu. I was fortunate to meet him, and I know a few people in India who are devoted, like he was, to mathematics, to teaching the students, and to promoting mathematics. And I am amazed to see people so devoted as he is and as a few other people are. So a short biography of Srinivasan Ramanujan. He was born in Erode near Tanjore in 1887. He went to school in Kumbakonam from 1894 to 1903. And already in 1900, he began to work on his own on mathematics, summing geometric and arithmetic series. So these are a few pictures of the place where he was born, in Kumbakonam. And I was lucky enough to visit this place when I was a member of the Sastra committee for the Sastra Ramanujan Prize. I will come back to that at the end of my talk. And so this is the street in Kumbakonam where he was living when he was young. And this is his house, Ramanujan House. So it's a very simple house, which has been converted now into a museum, as you can see here. So these are a few pictures which I took from his house when I visited it. This is the town high school of Kumbakonam, where Srinivasan Ramanujan was studying. And during he was in this high school, he received a book by Carr, a synopsis of elementary results, a book on pure mathematics, which was published in 1886. And this book was going to have an influence on the way Ramanujan did his mathematics. He had a slide, and he was working on a slate, and he was working with writing many things for himself, but he just copied the results that he found, and he did not copy the proofs, which is similar to what Carr did in his synopsis. And the kind of result that you can find is the following. The problem is to find two numbers, x and y, such that the square root of x plus y is 7 and x plus the square root of y is 11. And the solution which is given is x equal 9 and y equal 4. So this is the kind of formula that Ramanujan used to explain his mathematics. In 1903, in December, he passed an exam at Madras universities. And the next month, in January 1904, he entered Government Arts College in Kumbakonam. He got first the Ranganathan Rao Prize and then the Subramanian Scholarship, and he could continue his studies. And it is already as young as that he started to research. And one of his first study was about the series, which is the sum of 1 over n. So it's 1 plus 1 over 2 plus 1 over 3 plus and so on. And I will explain a little bit more about this series, but this gives rise to the Euler constant. And he succeeded to calculate Euler constant to 15 decimal places, which is something which is far from being obvious. And at the same time, he studied the Bernoulli numbers. And this was, they are called the Bernoulli numbers because they were studied by Bernoulli much earlier at the time of Euler, but he did it completely independently. So let me say a few things about Euler constant. If you add the numbers 1 plus 1/2 plus 1 over 3 plus 1 over 4 plus 1 over n, infinity, this sequence of partial sums tends to infinity like log n. And to check that it is equivalent to log n, you can just compare this sum to two integrals. On the left-hand side, you have the integral of dx over x plus 1. And on the right-hand side, you have 1 plus the integral from 1 to n of dx over x. This is quite easy, just using the definition of the integral and looking at the sum. And so it's more than to say that this is equivalent to log n. It is that the difference, Sn minus log n, has a limit. And this limit is known as Euler constant. I gave a talk. This is one of the references which I want to share with you. I gave a lecture on, is Euler constant a rational number, an algebraic irrational number, or else a transcendental number? I can just tell you what we know about that. In fact, we do not know. We expect that it is a transcendental number, which means that we expect Euler constant not to be a root of a polynomial with rational coefficients, a non-zero polynomial with rational coefficients. But we are not able to prove that, even if we take a polynomial of degree 1, which means that we do not know whether Euler constant is a rational number or not. There is a very nice paper which is available on the internet by Geoffrey Lagarias, Euler constant, Euler's work and modern development. It is published in the Bulletin of the American Mathematical Society, and the biography includes 314 references. So 314 is the integral part of the 100 times pi. The references, there is one to what is called Euler archives and Enneström index. Enneström is the one who compiled the work of Euler. Euler was one of the most prolific mathematicians, and all the work of Euler are collected in these Euler archives, and there is an index for each of the papers. And the Euler archive, the website is eulerarchive.naa.org, and NAA is the Mathematical Association of America. If I insist on this website, it is because in the bibliography of the paper which I mentioned by Lagarias here, he made a misprint by writing this address, and he wrote eulerarchive.org. He did not put the NAA. And so when I saw his paper, I looked at this website, and as you will see, the website was on a completely different topic. And in fact, just before giving this lecture, I checked again this website here without the NAA, and I found something else, which is something written in Indonesia. So if you want to look at this reference, you have to put the NAA. So I introduced the sum 1 plus 1/2 plus 1/3 plus 1 over n, which we can write the sum of 1 over j for j equal 1 up to n. And the first elements of this sequence are 1 plus 1/2, which is 3/2, 1 plus 1/2 plus 1 over 3, which is 11 over 6. And you have the sequence of such a fraction, rational numbers, which grows in the same way as the logarithm of n. It's a good approximation. And so when you have a sequence of numbers, preferably of integers, and here you can take the sequence of numerators and the sequence of denominators, it is a good idea to look at the online encyclopedia of integer sequences. This is a website where you have access to a database which is collected by Sloan. And I will refer to this encyclopedia several times because there are a lot of information that you can get on this website. For example, the numerators and the denominators of the sequence of harmonic numbers are available on this website. And you have here the sequence of numerators and the sequence of denominators. So the limit is of Hn minus log n is the so-called Euler constant. Euler computed it, but you see he computed 6 decimals, but the seventh one, which is 8, well, if you count 0 as the first one, the 8, which is here, is not the right value, as we will see just in a moment. Euler did a lot of things about this constant, including proving a result which gives the value of Euler constant as the sum of an alternating series. You see, you have -1 to the m, so the signs are successively 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1, which is very good because it gives some upper bound and lower bound for the constant gamma whenever you stop at a given step. So what are these numbers zeta of m? I will come back later to them, but there are values of the Riemann zeta function. The Riemann zeta function is one of the most important functions in number theory and in the mathematics in general. It was introduced, in fact, by Euler when S is a real number. It is convergent only for when S is a real number. It is convergent only when S is greater than 1. But in spite of all the values of S, even for the negative one. But Riemann extended the Riemann zeta function to the complex plane. And this was a fundamental work of Riemann, which gives rise to the Riemann hypothesis. The main property of the zeta function is that it is given by a series, but it is also given by an infinite product, which is the product of 1 over 1 minus p to the minus s. I mentioned the numerical value of Euler constant, and now if you look on the Encyclopedia of Integer Sequences, you will find many decimal, and we know that many decimal digits of Euler constant, which were computed in 2010. It is called sometimes the Euler-Mascheroni constant, just because Mascheroni computed a few more decimal digits of gamma than Euler. And you can look at this website, which gives you more information about it. I told you that Ramanujan was interested in the Bernoulli numbers. The Bernoulli numbers are related to the values of the Riemann zeta function at the negative integers. And they are defined by induction as follows. You start with B0 equal 1, and you define B1 such that B0 plus 2B1 is 0. So you check B1 is -1/2. Next, you define B2 by the condition B0 plus 3B1 plus 3B2 equals 0, and this gives you B2 equal 1 over 6. Next, you have B4, and you see that here you have the binomial coefficients, 1, 5, 10, 10, 5. You do not put the last one, so you stop at n-1, and so this is the formula. The sum for k equals 0 to n-1 of nk bk is equal to 0. And you find the b1, which is negative 1/2, and the other even odd index b are 0, and the other one are rational numbers because of this formula, and this rational number has a denominator which plays an important role in number theory, in the study of the Riemann zeta function. Let me come back to the life of Srinivasa Ramanujan. In 1905, he failed the final exam. So this is a message for the students who fail sometimes some exam. Don't be ashamed of that. It happens even to great people like Ramanujan. And what happened is that Ramanujan was working only on mathematics, and he was not working in any of the other subjects. And so this is why he failed, not in the other topics. In 1906, he entered a college in Madras, and unfortunately, he became ill. So he had to go back to Kumbakonam. And again, in 1907, in December, he failed the final exam. But this did not prevent him to continue his own work, and he worked on the continued fraction and divergent series. In April, he underwent an operation, and in 1909, in July, he married with Janaki Amal, who passed away in 1994, so she was 94 years old. And I was fortunate to meet her when there was some celebration for the 100th birthday of Ramanujan. So these are the pictures of the wife of Ramanujan. In Madras, he met Ramaswamy Iyer, who helped him a lot. And it is in 1911 that he published his first mathematical paper. In 1912, he was a clerk in the office in the Madras Port Trust. And then he met Sir Francis Spink and Sir Gilbert Walker. At that time, India was ruled by the British, and this is why British people played such an important role in the life of Ramanujan. And so thanks to them, he got a scholarship for the University of Madras starting in May 1913 for 2 years. So he was able to continue to work. And it is at that time in 1912 that he solved some problems which were asked by the Journal of the Indian Mathematical Society. And so the two examples which I selected are what are called nested roots. So this is an example of a nested root. You take the square root of a number which is 1 plus 2 times the square root of another number. The other number is 1 plus 3 times the square root of a number, which is 1 plus 4, and so on. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And so the question which was asked is, what is the limit? The second example was a similar nested root with the number 6, 2, 7, 3, 8, 4, 9. So here you have 2, 3, 4, and here you have 6, 7, 8, 9. So I will sketch the reason for which Ramanujan gave the following answers. For the first one, the result is 3. And for the second one, the result is 4. And how to prove that? I will not give the proof. I leave the proof as an exercise. I know that there are many young students of mathematics who are attending my talk, so it's good to write down the precise solution. I just give the hint for the solution. For the first one, so it is the square root where you have 2, 3, 4, and so on. You start from the following relation. If you compute n plus 2 square, it is easy to check that it is 1 plus n plus 1 times n plus 3. You multiply by n square and you take the square root. So you have n plus 2. So you have multiplied by n square, you take the square root. So you have n here, and then you have the root of the square root of this number here. But you see that in this square root, you have n plus 1, n plus 3, and here you have n plus 2. This is really similar. If you define f of n equal n plus 2, which is the left-hand side, what you have in the right-hand side is 1 plus f plus 1, f of n plus 1. So the formula which is here can be written f of n equal n times the square root of 1 plus f of n plus 1. And so when you have such a formula, you just replace f of n plus 1 by the same formula, which gives f of n equal n times the square root of 1 plus, and then you replace n by n plus 1, you have n plus 1 here, 1 plus f of n plus 2. And you continue. And then you imagine that you get the first nested root, and if you plug n equal 1, you have, with this formula, the nested root that you are looking for. And with this formula here, n equal 1, you get 3. So this is the first answer. For the second answer, it's very similar. You start now from n plus 3 square equal n plus 5 plus n plus 1 times n plus 4. You see that you have n square here and here. Here you have 6n, and this corresponds to 5 plus 1 plus 1. And then you have 9, which is the 5 plus 4. So you start from this identity, as we say. And then again, you take the square root of that, you multiply by n, and so you have n plus 3 equal n times the square root of this number. And now the function that you have to introduce is g of n times n plus 3. And here you have g of n plus 1. So now the formula is very similar. G of n is n square root of n plus 5 plus g of n plus 1. And you iterate. And if you replace n by 1, you have, you start with 6 here, and then 2, and then 7, and so on. And so you get the other nested root. And for n equal 1, you get the value 4 for g of n. These are proofs with quotes, as you can see. It is an exercise to check that the formula is correct if you go to infinity. And so for that, you have to take a limit. And I leave it as an exercise. It is at that time that Ramanujan started, because of the advice which were given to him, to some mathematician in Great Britain. And as I mentioned, the British was ruling India at that time. And so he wrote to a mathematician whose name is Hill in 1912. He wrote that he had some interesting results. And among the results that he mentioned, he said that he is able to compute the sum of 1 plus infinity, and the result is minus 1 over 12. Then he computes the sum of the squares of the integers, and he says that it is 0. And then he computes the sum of the cubes of the integers, and he found 1 over 120. So this is what he wrote to Hill. And the answer of Hill, it's good that Hill answered, because as you will see, several other mathematicians did not answer to Ramanujan, but Hill answered. And he said, well, all this is nonsense. If you take the sum of the positive integers, you get a positive, you get infinity, because it's not a negative integer. If you take the sum of this square, you will never get 0. And this is again something which is infinite. And he wrote this formula, which are quite correct. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus n is 1/2 of n plus 1. The sum of the square is given by this rational fraction, and the sum of the cube is given by this formula. And so this was the answer of Hill. And the fact that Hill gave this answer is something which we cannot blame him to give these answers, because this is what you are taught in school. And Hill knew the theory of limit, of Cauchy limit and convergent sequences, and these sequences are not convergent. So when Ramanujan wrote this formula, the left-hand side is not a convergent series. So it is not something that Hill knew. But Euler knew that. Euler studied the renormalization of divergent series in his book, which is Introductio in Analysum Infinitorum. And Euler was able to compute, for example, the sum of the positive integers, the sum of the cube, the sum of the 5th power. And Euler found these values which are here, which are compatible with what Ramanujan found. What is zeta of minus k? I mentioned the Bernoulli numbers before. Zeta of minus k, Euler said that the value is minus bk plus 1 over k plus 1. If you write zeta of minus k for k, an even integer, if you use the formula for the zeta function, which is valid only for the numbers which are greater than 1, or at least the real part greater than 1, then you find something which is divergent. But Euler knew the theory of divergent series, and it is something which is quite well known now, which is renormalization. And at the end of my lecture, I will come back to this question of divergent series. Hardy knew what are divergent series. He even wrote a book on that, divergent series, in 1949. But this was something which was not considered as classical. Abel wrote that divergent series are the invention of the devil, and it is shameful to base on them any demonstration whatsoever. And so now we know the theory of divergent series, but it is not something which is taught in the university, but in spite of the fact that it's something very important. So I will come back to that later, but let me continue by saying that Ramanujan wrote other letters, in particular to Baker and Hobson, but they never answered. And finally, the most important letter of Ramanujan was the one that he sent to Hardy in January 16, 1913. And this letter is extremely interesting. I have had no university education, but I have undergone the ordinary school course. After leaving school, I have been employing the spare time at my disposal to work at mathematics. I have not trodden through the conventional regular course, which is followed in a university course, but I am striking out a new path for myself. I have made a special investigation of divergent series in general, and the results I get are termed by the local mathematician are startling. So Hardy at that time was we can say the leading mathematician in England. He was very well established, and he had a very huge knowledge of many parts of mathematics. He's well known also for his joint work with Littlewood, who was a little bit younger than him. Hardy was born in 1877 and Littlewood in 1885. And they worked together. And so this is a picture of Hardy and Littlewood, and probably the only picture of both of them together. And when, in the letter of Ramanujan to Hardy, which I already mentioned, he mentioned some other divergent series, like 1 minus 2 plus 3 minus 4. And he said that the sum is 1 over 4. And another one, which is quite interesting because it's the sum, the alternating sum of the factorial numbers. So 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1, so it is 6. And he gave the value, which is 0.596. And the answer of Hardy is quite different from the answer of wrote, I was exceedingly interested by your letter and by the theorems which you state. You will, however, understand that before I can judge properly of the value of what you have done, it is essential that I should see proofs of some of your assertions. Your results seem to me to fall into roughly 3 classes. There are a number of results that are already known or easily deductible from known theorem. Just a remark is that it is clear that for Hardy, the results on divergent series were already known. He did not say they were wrong. On the opposite, they are known and they are deducible from known theorem. Second, there are results which, so far as I know, are new and interesting, but interesting rather for their curiosity and apparent difficulty than their importance. And the third, there are results which appear to be new and important. When Ramanujan received this letter, you see that this letter was sent 1 month after Ramanujan wrote his own letter, which is quite fast because at that time the communication was not so easy between England and India. I don't know what he thought. First, he was certainly very happy to read the comments of Hardy. But at the same time, he was maybe a little bit miserable because Hardy was asking the proofs. And Hardy most often knew that the results were true, but to write down the proof, to send the proof was something which he was not used to. So it was not so good for him. So in February 27, so just after this one, he wrote a new letter to Hardy. And then the same year, a colleague from Hardy, Neville, went to India and arranged a visit of Ramanujan to Cambridge. And this visit started in March 1914. Ramanujan started from India in the 17th of March and reached Cambridge in the 14th of April. It is just 4 years later that he became Fellow of the Royal Society. And in November the same year, he became a Fellow of Trinity College in Cambridge. And he came back to India in 1919. So that was a very important visit of Ramanujan in India during less than 5 years, but this was very, very productive. It is during that time that he met Mahalanobis, who asked him the following puzzle about an interesting street number. The puzzle itself was about a street in the town of Louvain in Belgium, where houses are numbered consecutively. Well, I can tell you that I have been in Louvain and there is no such street, but it is just for the story that the puzzle starts like this. One of the house numbers had the peculiar property that the total number of numbers lower than it was exactly equal to the total of the numbers above it. Furthermore, the greater than 50, but less than 500. So I put some reference on this problem here. In fact, I gave a talk myself on the square root of 2, the golden ratio, and the Fibonacci sequence. And I explained with some detail how Ramanujan found the solution. Ramanujan just took a small paper, he wrote a few things on it, he got the solution, and he said that the house number is 204, and in the street there are 288 houses. And he said that he would be able to give a complete list of all the solutions. And the complete list, of course, is on the Encyclopedia of Integer Sequences. When I say complete, it's an infinite series, but it's easy to go from one number to the next one by using this linear recurrent sequence. For example, the solution is 204, which is 6 times 35 minus 6. And the number of the houses, 288, is given in this list, which is here. So you see the first solution is 0, 0, so you have no house and the number of the house is 0. So this is another story which is known by Ramanujan, than when his teacher asked him if you have 6 apples and 3 students, how many each student will get, how many apples will each student get? And Ramanujan asked, and if there is no student and no apple, what is the answer? And so this is similar to this first solution. The next solution is that you have a house with a street with one house, and the number of the house is 1. So there is no number on the left, no on the right, so it's very similar. But the next one, which is interesting, is 6 and 8. And so if you take the street with 8 houses and the house number 6, then you count 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 4 plus 5, and then you compare with 7 plus 8, and you get the same result. And the same with 35 and 49, and then you have the right solution because it was between 50 and 500, which is 204 and 288. And this is related with continued fractions. So Ramanujan knew the continued fraction because he found them by himself, and the continued fraction of the square root of 2 comes into the picture. Of course, I cannot give a talk on Ramanujan without speaking of the taxicab number 1729. Hardy wrote that he took a cab which had this number, 1729, and he said to Ramanujan that the number seemed to be a rather dull number. This is what Hardy wrote, and we do not really believe that this happened, because if the taxicab number was that number, Hardy knew several properties of this number. But it is just to explain how fast Ramanujan was able to react. As soon as Hardy gave this, quoted this number, Ramanujan said that this number, 1729, is the smallest number, which is the sum of 2 cubes in 2 different ways, which is 1728, which is 12 to the cube plus 1, and it is also 10 to the cube, which is 1000, plus 729, which is 9 to the cube. Littlewood remarked that every positive integer is a personal friend of Ramanujan. I have a personal story about this taxi cab number. Something like a little bit more than 10 years ago, I visited the University of Pune, and I met the Vice Chancellor, Narendra Jadhav. And so when I came into his office, he asked me to introduce myself. And when I said that I was a mathematician, he took a small piece of paper, and during the time I was speaking, he wrote something. And then immediately he told me this story about the taxi cab number 1729. So he knew this story, but he was able to reconstruct this story immediately, which is quite remarkable for someone like him, who is not really a mathematician. After I met him, I read the book on an untouchable family in India, which is extremely interesting. So for the sequence of integers, which are sum of two cubes in two different ways, it is known that this sequence is infinite. There is an easy reason for that. If you take from one solution, you multiply by a cube, and then you have another solution. If you have the same question for the square, the smallest solution is 50, which is 49 plus 1 and 25 plus 25. Now you have an infinite sequence, which is like this. And Hardy continued his story about his meeting with Ramanujan by saying that after Ramanujan gave this answer, Hardy asked him, what about a number which is written as a sum of 2/4 power in two different ways? Two essentially different ways, because you do not just switch the two numbers. And Hardy said that Ramanujan answered that he does not know the answer, the smallest number, but it must be a very large number. Maybe Hardy just wanted to say that Ramanujan was a genius, but he was not able to solve any problem. And this is one problem that he could not solve immediately. In fact, the answer was known already by Euler, and the smallest such number is the number which is given here, which is a sum of 2/4 power in two different ways. There are a lot of other things which can be said on the taxi cab numbers. For example, you can ask a number which is the sum of two cubes in 3 different ways or 4 different ways. And so if you look at the sequence of integers which are the sum of cubes, 2 cubes in n different ways, you look at the smallest one, you get a sequence which is another taxi cab number sequence. And there is another sequence which is quite interesting, which is to ask the cube-free numbers, which are sum of 2 cubes in 2 different ways. And for this sequence, it's not known whether it is infinite or not. And I will give you some link to some talk which I gave just 2 days ago, where I mentioned these other taxi cab number sequences. Ramanujan was interested also in Diophantine equation, like the equation where you ask that the sum of 3 cubes is a cube, and you have a solution which is given by 3, 4, 5, 6. If you compute the sum of these 3 cubes, you get 2016, which is 6 to the cube. And again, for this Diophantine equation, we know that there are infinitely many solutions. We can even get a parametric solution where x, y, z depends on 2 parameters, a and b. But there is an equation which Ramanujan studied, which is extremely interesting and intriguing. And this is the so-called Ramanujan-Nagel equation. The remark of Ramanujan is that if you look at the equation x squared plus 7 equal 2 to the n, so you take a square, you add 7, and you ask that it is a power of 2. Ramanujan pointed out that you have 5 solutions, which are 8, 16, 32, 128, and this large solution, which is 2 to the 15, 32,768, which is 181 square plus 7. So maybe if you look like this at this equation, we can say, and then what happens with that? It's quite remarkable because I will explain to you that this is very special. Instead of 7, you could say, okay, I will take another integer, either positive or negative. Instead of 2, I could take 3, 5, or any number. Instead of the square, I could take the cube or something else. But this is the kind of gem that Ramanujan found. He pointed out that these are the solutions, these are solutions of this equation. And it is called Ramanujan-Nagel because Nagel was able to prove that there are no other solutions. So Ramanujan found all the solutions. So now in 1948, Nagel proved that for d equals 7, there is no further solution. But much later, in 1960, Apéry proved that if d is a positive integer, not 7, then the equation x squared plus d equals 2 to the n has at most 2 solutions. So you see, there were 5 solutions for 7. And if you take any other value, you will not have more than 2 solutions. You have sometimes 2 solutions, but never more. Maybe some of you know the name of Apéry. This was in 1960, and it is more than 15 years later that Apéry proved the irrationality of zeta of 3. So it was again a result in number theory, but quite a different result. And it took a very long time to Apéry to prove the result on the irrationality of zeta of 3. But this was really a major achievement that he did. Okay, so when you see a result like this, if d is different from 7, the equation has at most 2 solutions. You may ask, is it best possible or not? And the answer is we cannot do better because there are examples with 2 solutions. One example is with d equal 23. You have 3 squared plus 23, which is 32. It is the power of 2. And you have another solution, 45 squared plus 23, which is 2 to the power 11, which is 2048. And you have an infinite family of values of d, which give 2 solutions. And these values of d are 2 to the L plus 1 minus 1, where L is greater than or equal to 1. And you check that you get infinitely many solutions for that. One is to take n equal L plus 1, and the other one is to take n equal to L. So you may think that this is the end of the question. We know everything. But this is not quite true because we can ask, okay, we have some example with 2 solutions, infinitely many, but do we know all the examples? And the answer is yes. And this was proved by Beukers in 1980. This is Beukers. He proved that if you take any other value, you have at most 1 solution. And now this is essentially the end, because if you fix x and n, you compute 2 to the n minus x squared, and you call it d, and you have 1 solution. But then if you do not take one of these values here and not 7, you will not get any other solution. Michael Bennett here considered the case where d is negative. And there is a similar story for d negative. So instead of plus 7, you take a negative number. I want to say a few words about partition. The definition of partition is the following. You take an integer, for example, you take 4, and you want to write it as a sum of integers. So you can write it 4. You can write it 3 plus 1, 2 plus 2, 2 plus 1 plus 1, or 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. You see, we count 3 plus 1. We do not count 1 plus 3. We take the decreasing sequences. And so the number of writing 4 as a sum of integers is 5. So we say that the partition number of 4, P of 4, is 5. And you have the sequence 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 15, and so on. McMahon gave a table for the first 200 values. and you have much more on the Encyclopedia of Sloan. So partition was an important topic in the study of Ramanujan. He proved some congruencies properties of the partition number, or at least he stated a number of congruencies. P of 5n plus 4 is a multiple of 5, P of 7n plus 7, and P of 11n plus 6 is a multiple of 11. And so these are for the prime values 5, 7, 11. And you have also something for the squares of these numbers, 25, 49, 121. So Ramanujan had a good knowledge of partition, but there were some results that he was not able to check, or he did not claim that they were true, but he made some conjecture. And one of his conjecture was that if M has prime factors 5, 7, and 11 only, if you take 20L minus 1, and if you assume that L is such that 20L minus 1 is a multiple of M, then the partition number of Nm plus L is a multiple of M. And this should be true for all N, including L equals 0, N equals 0. So P of L should be a multiple of N. Gupta published a table for the partition numbers. And Chawla pointed out that in the table of Gupta, there was the partition number of 243, which is this number, which is not a multiple of 7 to the cube. And Chawla pointed out that this number is divisible 24 times 243 minus 1 is divisible by 7 to the cube, which is the condition which was here. And therefore, the conjecture is false. You just take n equals 0 and you look at P of L. So this is a simple result, but it proved that Ramanujan did not guess always the right answer to some problems. The paper of Chawla is quite short, and I can show you almost completely. I just did not put the notes in the bottom of page. And the paper of Chawla is this one. He points out that the conjecture of Ramanujan conjecture is not true for 7 to the cube. There are many things to be said on partitions. In particular, Ken Ono had some very interesting results on partition, and you will find some reference on Ono's paper when he went to Kumbakonam, and he wrote a very interesting report on his visit, which is published in the notices of the American Mathematical Society and which are available on the internet. Euler studied the partition. And what Euler did is to consider the so-called generating series of the partition, which is 1 plus P of 1x plus P of 2x squared plus P of nx to the n. And Euler proved that this series, which is the generating series, is also the inverse of an infinite product. And the infinite product is 1 minus x squared, 1 minus x cubed, and so on. So we can write it like this. The left-hand side, 1 plus the sum of P of nxn is this generating series. And the right-hand side is the product of 1 minus x to the n, all the power minus 1. So you have an infinite product. We have seen already some infinite product for the Riemann zeta function in the previous slides, and this is related with the Riemann zeta function and the work of Riemann. So this is the Riemann zeta function. I want to say a few words about the circle method. The circle method was really invented by Ramanujan in his joint work with Hardy. It is usually referred to Hardy-Littlewood method. And the reason is that it started with a talk by Hardy on the International Congress of Mathematicians in Stockholm in 1916, where he reported on his joint work on partition with Littlewood. But Hardy and Ramanujan first started this method on partition earlier. So some problems in partition numerorum, which is the partition number. The so-called method was further developed by Hardy, Littlewood, Rademacher, Vinogradov, Davenport, and this gave rise to a number of developments: the large sieve, the ternary Goldbach conjecture, progress on binary Goldbach conjecture, Waring's problem, and all these problems looked beyond reach before the birth of the circle method. So this is a contribution of Ramanujan, which has still some development very recent. So it's a very fruitful method, very efficient. My next topic is about the Ramanujan tau function. This tau function is obtained as a series, which is the expansion of an infinite product. This infinite product is x times the product of 1 minus xn to the power 24. If you expand this into a series at 0, it starts with 2 of 1x plus 2 of 2x squared plus and so on. And these numbers, tau of n, are known as the Ramanujan tau function. It's similar, it's an extension of the formula which is here. X divided by 1 minus x is the sum of x to the n. But you have to take the 24th power. So this is a series, an entire series, as we say, because we have x to the n. But we can write it, we can look at the numbers tau of n by looking at the sum of tau of n divided by n power s. So this is a kind of a Fourier series. And then you have a product, an infinite product, like the one of Euler. It's an Eulerian product, as we say, which is the product over all p of the inverse of this expression, which is 1 minus 2p p to the minus s plus p to the 11 minus 2s. It's a very nice formula which has a lot of importance, as we will see. And Ramanujan stated that tau of Pn, the prime number, for p equal to 2, 3, 5, 7, and 23. And he also gave some congruencies modulo 691. It turned out that this number is the numerator of the Bernoulli number B12. So the Bernoulli numbers come back into the picture from now on. Ramanujan stated a conjecture which was proved by Deligne in 1974. And the conjecture is that tau of p is bounded by 2 times p to the 11 over 2. So it's a quite remarkable fact of mathematics. If you look at the definition of tau of p, it's something which is essentially elementary. You just have to look at series, power series, and you get this sequence of numbers tau of p when p is prime. This is a series for all n. But the tau of p occurs in this formula. You see that on the left-hand side, you have tau of n for all n. On the right-hand side, you have tau of p for all prime p only. And so Ramanujan made this conjecture, and the final proof of this conjecture was obtained by Deligne in 1974. And this proof is extremely deep. Deligne had to develop all the work on algebraic geometry, which was started and initiated by Grothendieck, which is a huge machinery, which nowadays is the most powerful tool of algebraic geometry. And it is by using some very deep results in mathematics that Deligne was able to prove this conjecture, which looks like an elementary statement, but it lies very deep in mathematics. I would like to come back to something which belongs to analytic number theory, which is to look at the number of prime factors of an integer n. So the question is the following. You take an integer n randomly, and you ask, how many prime divisors are there? If there is just one prime divisor, then it means that n is prime, and the probability is very small, because the number of integers which are prime and which are less than x is x divided by log x, essentially. And so the probability that a number is prime is very low. So we ask, how many prime factors are there? And the result of Hardy-Ramanujan is that for almost all integers, the number of prime factors of n is log n. So this is not an accurate statement. The precise result is the following. You fix an epsilon, which is positive and less than 1, and you look at the number of integers less than x, so that the number of prime factors of n, omega of n, is between 1 minus epsilon log n and 1 plus epsilon log n. Then this number of integers n divided by x tends to 1, which means that the density of the set is 1 asymptotically. So almost all numbers satisfy this condition. You fix epsilon and almost all numbers satisfy this. I like this statement and I like to state it as it is done here, because when I say the number of prime factors of n is log n, of course, it's not exactly log n. It is close to log n. But we can ask, are there some numbers n so that the number of prime factor is exactly log n? We do not know the answer, but I can tell you what are chances. Chances is that there is no integer n for which the number of prime factors is exactly log n. And the reason for that is that we expect that log n is never an integer. We do not know. This is one problem which belongs to transcendental number theory. If you fix an integer n, a large integer, you ask whether log n is again an integer. So you call this number a, and this means that exponential of a should be not an integer. And we are not able to prove that. It's very surprising that such a statement is not known, but these are among the open problems for which I hope that there will be some progress in the near future, but we do not know. This is, I mentioned the problem of transcendence, log n, and there is another problem on transcendence which comes from the work of Ramanujan, which is related with the highly composite numbers. It's a famous paper by Ramanujan, which was published in the Proceedings of the London Mathematical Society, where he studied the highly composite numbers. Well, since the time is running, I will not give the definition, but the definition can be guessed from what is written here. But I just want to point out that in this paper, Ramanujan used implicitly the following fact. If t is a real number, is it true that when 2 to the t is in z, an integer, and 3 to the t is in z, does it imply that t is an integer? For example, if you take t equal logarithm of an integer, and I take here 1729, but it does not matter, and I divide by log 2, if you compute 2 power t, this is just the integer that you started with, which is an integer. So you have one number, which is an integer. But the other number is exponential of log 3, log 1729 divided by log 2, and it is not an integer. You can compute it, and you see that it's not an integer. So we can have one which is in z, but not the other one at the same time. Erdős and Alaoglu studied this paper of Ramanujan in 1944, and they wrote their own paper on highly composite and similar numbers. But they faced this difficulty to prove that the condition 2 to the t and 3 to the t is in z implied that t is in z, and they were not able to prove it. So they asked Siegel, who was the most influential mathematician in transcendental number theory. And Siegel said, I am not able to prove that. I can prove only a weaker statement. If you assume that 2 to the t, 3 to the t, and 5 to the t are integers, then this implies t is in z. Now the problem where you take only two integers, 2 and 3, is still open. And this is the so-called special case of the so-called 4 exponential conjecture. So the 4 exponential conjecture is not known, it's not solved. The 6 exponential theorem is known by the work of Siegel, and the four exponential conjecture is not known, but something is known in between, which is the 5 exponential theorem, which was proved by Damien Roy in 1992 or 93. And so this is a kind of open problem which arises from the work of Ramanujan and which is related with the transcendental number theory. The paper of Damien Roy was on matrices whose coefficients are linear forms in logarithms. Among the other works of Ramanujan which are related with the transcendental numbers, there are several which deal with the number pi. And for example, Ramanujan found a very good approximation of pi by an algebraic number. You see, this number is algebraic. It is a root of a polynomial. It is a polynomial of degree 2 because you just have a square root of 5. And you see that the approximation is quite sharp. You have many decimal digits which are the same for pi and this. We know that pi is not an algebraic number, so you cannot get exactly the same value with an algebraic number. But you can get the same value with some infinite sums. And Ramanujan has several examples. One of them is this formula for pi. For n equals 0 in this sum, you just take n equals 0, you get already 6 digits. And if you replace n by n plus 1, you get 8 more digits each time. So it converges very fast. And there is another formula for 1 over pi, which is the very nice formula which is given here. The decimals of pi have been investigated quite a lot. And in 1999, there were 2 times 10 to the 10 digits which were known. And there were used, some formulae of Ramanujan were used to compute these digits. And there is a lot of work which develops this computation for the decimals of pi. A few words about Ramanujan notebooks. They were written from 1903 to 1914. For the first one, there are 16 chapters and 134 pages. For the second one, 21 chapters and 252 pages. And the third one has only 33 pages. And they were edited in Bombay in 1957. So these are the notebooks of Ramanujan, but there are the lost notebooks, which were published, discovered by George Andrews in 1976 and published by Bruce Berndt in 5 volumes. It's a huge work that he did. The last work of Ramanujan was about Mach theta functions. And during a long time, it was a very mysterious topic in mathematics. And now much more is known thanks to the work of Donzagier and his student Zwegers. So there is this paper which started the study of Mach theta function, and from that point on, a lot of results have been found. And one of them gave rise to the Sastra Ramanujan Prize. The Sastra Ramanujan Prize, which was founded by the Sastra Academy, is given annually and to a young mathematician judged to have done outstanding work in Ramanujan's fields of interest. The age limit for the prize has been set at 32. The current awards is $10,000 US. So you have here the list of the recipients. The first ones were Manjul Bhargava and Kannan Sundararajan. There were 2 prizes this year. And after that, quite a lot of bright mathematicians got it. For example, you have Akshay Venkatesh, who got it in 2008. And you have many mathematicians who are well-known who got it. There is another Ramanujan Prize, which is the ICTP, International Center of Theoretical Physics, which is another prize independent of the previous one. And I give here the list of recipients of this prize. And you can see that Sujata Ramodorai from India got it in 2006. And you also have Amalandu Krishna, who got it in 2015, and Ritabharata Munshi in 2018. I will complete my talk by giving some references. there is a talk by Donzaguier, Ramanujan to Hardy, which is available on the internet. You will get some information on the MacTutor history of mathematics. If you are interested with history of mathematics, I recommend you this website, which is well documented. You see, when you look on the internet, you are not always sure to have something which is reliable. But here with MacTutor history of mathematics, this is done by mathematicians, and you can rely on the information there. The World of Mathematics by Wolfram Research, and for the Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, it's not always true that the information are reliable. So I would recommend rather the two websites which are here. So I think I have been speaking for more than 1 hour. So could you please tell me, Dr. Gita, whether you allow me to continue a little bit, or whether you prefer to have some time for questions?
Sir, 5 minutes. After that, we'll have for questions.
Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, that's
Okay,
good.
fine.
During the last 5 minutes, I will tell you what I did. I look at Wikipedia, even if I told you that it's not reliable. Wikipedia gives you some ideas of what to look for. And then you have to take another source to check the results. So if you look at the Wikipedia on Ramanujan, you will see that they mention Landau-Ramanujan constant, Mock-theta functions, Ramanujan prime, Ramanujan-Soldner constant, Ramanujan theta functions, Ramanujan sum, and Roger-Ramanujan identities. I will just say a few words on each of these topics and tell you where you can find more information about that. The Landau-Ramanujan constant occurs in number theory by looking at the number of, the light came back now. Okay, so I had put some candles, you see here, in such a way that you can see me. So I will switch off the candles.
So that's great. That's great. Towards the end, it is
yes,
enlightened. It is enlightened.
The light is back.
Yes.
Okay, so like this, you can see me better than before. Okay, so the Landau-Ramanujan constant. You count how many numbers less than x are sum of 2 squares. And the result is that the number is approximately x divided by the square root of log x. But there is a constant in front of this. And this constant is the Landau-Ramanujan constant. It was discovered independently by Landau and Ramanujan. And this constant had the value which is here. I just gave very recently a talk on this. In fact, I gave a talk on May 12th, and you can look at this website, the number theory web seminar, and you will see the slides of my talk and also the record which was on YouTube. So based on a joint work with Etienne Fouvry and Claude Lefebvre, there are 2 papers which are published and which are also available on the internet. And we developed this topic on the Landau-Ramanujan constant. We have a lot of new things to say about that. I gave a talk on the topic just the day organized in the Rajagiri School of Engineering and Technology. And so you again can look at my slides there. The next topic is Ramanujan primes. According to Wikipedia, Ramanujan is a prime number that satisfies a result proven by Srinivasa Ramanujan relating the prime counting function, which is that pi of x minus pi of x over 2 is greater than 1 for x at least 2, greater than 2 for x at least 11, sorry, greater than 3 for x at least 17, and so on. So let me explain a little bit more. This is the sequence of Ramanujan prime. If you look at pi of 2 minus pi of 1, so these are the prime numbers which the fact that a of 1 is 2 means that you just have, starting from 2, you have always a prime number between n and 2n. And if you look at pi of 10 minus pi of 5, you have exactly a single prime. So this is 1 in 5, 10. But if you take n, which is at least 11, then you are always 2 primes between n and n/2. You have to see that the interval is open on the left-hand side and closed on the right-hand side. So this is, of course, in the encyclopedia, in the database of Sloan. The Ramanujan-Soldner constant is a mathematical constant, which is the unique zero of the logarithmic integral function. I will not say too much about that, just to give the value, which is 1.445. Ramanujan sums are sums of exponential of 2i pi a/qn. So these are roots of unity, and we add the roots of unity. And these sums were introduced by Ramanujan, and they are used in the proof of Vinogradov theorem that every sufficiently large odd number is a sum of 3 primes. Much more is known about that. The Ramanujan theta function is a function which generalizes Jacobi theta function. And the Jacobi triple product takes a particularly elegant form when written in terms of the Ramanujan theta. The Rogers-Ramanujan identities are identities related to basic hypergeometric series. They were known before Ramanujan, but Ramanujan discovered them again, and later they was discovered again by Isai Chur. And now to complete my talk, I would like to say a little bit more about divergent series. So let me explain why, according to Euler and Ramanujan, if you take the sum 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 1 plus and so on, you get 1/2. How do you check that? One way to do that is to take the series 1 plus z squared plus z cubed, and this series is convergent as long as the modulus of z is less than 1. And in this case, the sum is 1/1 minus z. But what Euler and Ramanujan do is to look at the value of this on the circle of convergence, and more precisely at the point z equal -1. At z equal -1, this series gives this infinite series, 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 1, but the left-hand side is 1/2. So they attribute the value of the series 1/2 to this infinite series. You can do the same for the derivative of this identity. And if you take the derivative, you find the 1 minus 2 plus 3 minus 4 equal 1/4. There is another reason to say that this infinite series is 1/4. And here is another reason. You define S as the sum of the alternating series of the integers. So S is this number. You put the 1, and here the -2 plus 3 minus 4, you remove 1 for each. So you have 1 minus 1 plus 1 minus 1. So you have removed 1. So what is remaining? It is 1 minus 2 plus 3 minus 4. You see, you have -1 minus 1, which gives the -2. You have +1 plus 2, which gives the +3. And so you have 1 minus 1/2, because we have seen that this is 1/2. And then what is here is just minus S. And so you get S equal 1/4. There is another way to check that by expanding the product, which is here, and you find again the same value, which is 1/2 square. So how to justify this? Abel would not be happy with the reason which I gave. But there is a definition of the Cesaro convergent. And this is very well explained in the book by Hardy on the divergent series. You see, the Cauchy theory gives you a value for an infinite sum when the series is a so-called Cauchy series, satisfying Cauchy criterion. But if the Cauchy criterion is not satisfied, then the series does not make sense according to Cauchy theory. But we can extend the theory of Cauchy, provided that in the case of convergence of Cauchy, we get the same value. So let me start with the series which is convergent in the sense of Cauchy. You look at the partial sums. So you stop at an. And you have a sequence now, S0, S1, S2, and you look at the mean value. If the series here is convergent, then the mean value is a convergence sequence, and the limit is S. So it is the sum of Cauchy. And now what Cesaro does is to say, okay, if the sequence of partial sums has a mean value, which has a limit, then we will say that the sum of the series is this limit S. And if you take the divergence series, you get the limit, which is 1/2, as we found before. And if you take the series 1 plus 0 minus 1 plus 1 plus 0 minus 1, you see, you would be tempted to say, I remove the 0, which is here, but you have infinitely many 0. And if you look at the Cesaro limit, you will find that it is 2 over 3. So there is a theory which is not shameful as Abel claimed. And there are several rules for summing divergent series, which are quite elementary. You can add 2 divergent series, provided that you add them in the right way. You add A0 plus B0 plus A1 plus B1 and so on. And you can also remove finitely many terms in a series and you get the natural rule. So you can do that for the sum, alternating sum of the squares, and you will find that it is 0. And other examples of divergent series are given here. And in particular, you see that the sum of the even powers of the integers will give 0. And finally, if you look at the Euler formula, which is here, this is exactly the one which was found by Ramanujan. There is a formula for that, and the value is 0.5963. And this is what Ramanujan found without knowing the work of Euler. Joseph Oesterle explained to me how to justify the Ramanujan method for computing the value of a divergent series and accelerating the convergence of series. But I think I would like to have some time for the discussion. So probably I will not say too much about the acceleration of convergence. I will stop here and just point out that on this website, you will find my slides. So you can get more information and look at your own pace to the slides which are available. So I wish to thank you again for attending my lecture. Dr. Gita for organizing this talk. So
thank you, sir. Thank you. So, floor is open to all for the queries. Participants, any queries, any discussions you want to have with the professor, you can have. So you can post it in the chat box so that it could be rectified for you. Any queries, dear participants, you can post it in the chat box. Fine. Professor, you could also see the chat box.
Yes, I am looking at that, and I see there an application of Ramanujan-Nagel equation other than its appearance in the error correcting codes and differential algebra. Okay, so not able to give a precise answer, but what I can say, first of all, is that as soon as you mention application, I would say that Ramanujan, like most mathematicians working in similar topics, do not try to develop the theory in view of application. The idea is the following. The numbers are part of the nature around us. And there are many things about numbers that we do not understand, we do not know. And we cannot accept that there are so many things that we do not know. We need to know. And if we do not know, it's mainly because not enough people have worked in these topics. We will never know everything. Hilbert thought that mathematics will give a solution, an answer to all the problems. And there are many works which have shown that this is not the truth. We cannot answer to all the problems. But we want to answer as much as possible. And the work of Ramanujan and other people, like my work, are not to get application. But now it turns out that these fundamental results have some application. And in fact, when you mentioned cryptography, for example, it's true that there are a lot of application of cryptography, of number theory to cryptography, which is something that Hardy did not expect. Hardy was proud that his work would never have any application to construct weapons, for example. But it was not completely true, because the work of Hardy is used in cryptography, and cryptography is used by military people. So I don't know so much about the application. So sorry for not being able to answer completely, but it's a nice fact that there are so many applications to the basic results, fundamental results in mathematics in general. Okay, so may I say something?
Yes, yes, sir.
If Ramanujan numbers of any is Ramanujan numbers of any fundamental nature, I would say yes. What Ramanujan did is really to uncover some mystery of mathematics, and especially of numbers. I insisted in numbers because this is my main topic, but also in complex analysis and analytic functions. And so this is really fundamental, which means that it is the basic of mathematics. The numbers are really at the basis, and the work of Ramanujan was very profound. We do not know, we do not understand exactly how he was able to find his results, but what he did, he passed away just 100 years ago, and what he did more than 100 years ago is something which is very important nowadays for the modern development of mathematics. Many mathematicians used this, the method of Ramanujan, the results of Ramanujan. And for example, the Mach theta function, which is something very mysterious, has been investigated in the recent years, and there are still a lot of things to be understood by that. So, are there further questions?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Done,
it was
sir.
a pleasure for me to be virtually with you in Coimbatore. I visited Coimbatore long back, and I hope I will have the opportunity to visit you again in the future. It would be my pleasure.
Sure, sir, sure. So next time during your visit, please make your presence to KPR IET College. You're most welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. And so take care of you.
And in spite of power cut for the professor, he has done a great job without any disturbance. Hats off to you, professor. Hats off to you.
Thank you.
Over to you, Damodaran, sir.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thankfulness may consist merely of words. Gratitude is shown in acts. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Professor Damodaran, Institute of Engineering and Technology, and I am here to present the vote of thanks for today's webinar. I would like to thank our webinar speaker, Professor Michael Walther, for enlightening us with his knowledge. In spite of power failure, we have a wonderful session in Candle. Today's webinar was filled with knowledge and interesting contributions towards the field of mathematics by Srinivasa Ramanujan. It gave a deep insights in the topic and revealed some interesting facts. The point where Professor Michael told us about the life of Srinivasa Ramanujan and his contribution on Euler constant, harmonic number, Riemann zeta functions was really informative. I am pretty sure the precious knowledge that Professor Michael gave us will definitely help us in our studies and future. Once again, I would like to thank Professor Michael for taking out time from his busy schedule and enlightening us with the knowledge. Thank you so much. I would also like to thank our principal, Dr. M. Akila, and head of the department, Dr. Geeta, for extending their fullest support to organize this webinar session and inviting Professor Michael to conduct it. I extend my thanks to Pi Mathematics Association for their cooperation to organize this webinar. I want to thank the teaching fraternity and the student community who joined for the event.
Make this event successful. Thank you all for giving me such an opportunity
To make this event successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
You are welcome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So thank you so much for readily accepting our invitation and giving your speech to us. And you have been very motivating, and also you have enlightened us through a candle lecture for past 1.5 hours. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
Will the video be available on YouTube?
When?
Will the video be available on YouTube?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure. We have recorded it and we'll be putting it in the YouTube.
Okay. Very
Yes,
good.
sir.
Thank you.
Yes,
So
sir.
you will send me the link.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, dear participants, for your kind patience for the past 1.5 hours. Dear participants, feedback link will be posted, and you will be getting your certificates also within this week. Thank you, one and all. Thank you, Professor. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir. Bye.
audio